See? Okay, couple things. So the audio engineers who are going to be recording our sessions on May 8 and 9 for the Copeland and Mahler. I sent out the schedule for the next 2 weeks on the Sunday email that you saw. But just to make sure that you understand that last week of rehearsals before our recording session, instead of meeting here on Thursday, we're going to not have rehearsal on May 6th. Is that a Thursday? Yeah. So May 6th, we will not have rehearsal here. Instead, we will have rehearsal in Bailey on Friday, May 7th. Okay, so no rehearsal Thursday, May 6th, but we are having a session on Friday, May 7th. The recording engineers really needed to test out what it's going to sound like before, because if they were to do that during the 40-minute rehearsal session for each piece, they wouldn't have enough time. Okay, so that weekend, May 8 and 9, afternoon of May 8, Saturday, will be the recording session devoted to Copeland. And then Sunday afternoon's recording session will be devoted to Mahler. Okay, so in a way, our dress rehearsal time is May 7, Friday, in Bailey Hall. We'll start setting up at 4:15. Okay, so it's important for those sessions that you are in sort of concert dress, not sweats or anything, because we are going to be recording both video and audio on that Saturday and Sunday. Okay, but Friday you don't have to come dressed. It just they need a sound check. Although they will be recording that Friday. Okay, all right. So today we're going to focus our efforts on the third movement of Mahler. Okay, we're going to start back where we started last time, which is rehearsal 6. So I'll try not to stop at all until we get to rehearsal 8, and then we'll continue to rehearse. My hope is that the first half hour we're going to use to focus on the third movement, and then the second half hour after our score study session, we can spend time on the first movement. Okay? All right. Can we just take 2 A's? Sorry? Okay, here's rehearsal. Rehearsal 6, I'm in 4. And So Jeremy, you gotta kind of watch the tempo there, right? It's very steady once it takes a new tempo for 2 bars, but then bar before 8, there's a big run time there. Okay, so we really need your eyes there. And if you come right at the dot, that's really going to be late for the next 5 minutes, right? Because horn is a kind of an instrument that is not the automatic on. Okay, folks, at 7. Can we go back to 7? All the time balance to the instruments that are having the more interesting material. So first and seconds should have the main melodic, prominent voice at 7, right? Okay, at 7. 3 and 4 and. And 4 and 1. Diminuendo. 3 and 4. 3 and yeah. So here at 8, right? The German direction is passionate and somewhat hurried, right? So each da 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 ti da 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 tia da. So each time to the downbeat has to have a little more impetus, a little more speed into the downbeat, right? So tiara da tiara da tiara. So he kind of spells out where he wants you to move forward to 8 after 8. 4th bar, 4th and 5th, 4th bar, go, 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 and then 5th bar, quarter note, half, and take time in that bar. Here is 3 before 8. Jeremy, there's fantastic. There's really good. Here we go. Aria, see if you can articulate the 8th note more along with the journey. Okay, piano sound. 3 before 8. 3 and 4. Yeah, so Jeremy, if you're going to hint at slowing down, it should be the end of the 2nd bar before 8, not first 3 beats of that bar. Okay? So really maintain tempo, the 3 before, 2 before 8. Yeah, here we go. And 4, and. Ta-ta. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and ya and 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and. That was it. Yeah, so Austin, right there, and that 3 before the double bar is you, okay? So you'll hear the upper swing, ya da da ti ya da. 1, 2, then your entrance, okay? Folks, 210, right, where it says wieder gehalten, again, restrained and sustained, right? And here, dia, 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 dia. It's a big chain reaction that's going down to the lowest note in the basses to the F sharp. right? So you have to make this, if you have it 2 and 3, or 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. All of these connected, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Got it? So right there, 210. 3 and 4 and 2. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1. Pianissimo. 3 and 2, 3, 4, ya-di-ta. And 1, 2, 3. So the direction is sehr zurückhaltend, meaning every beat has to get slower. Okay? How about 5 before the double bar? And if you don't articulate the quarters with the space, it won't sound like a passion plea, right? Ya, ti, ta, ti, ya. If he goes, it's less impassioned, okay? 5 before the double bar, which is 2, 15, 16, 2, 17. 3 and 4. Remember, we have to get 3 times faster, right? So if you go too fast in this andante, remember this is end of the 19th century andante, right? Okay. Violas, the last bar before the double bar, right? You have to come out and be more prominent in the sound, right? You've sort of dissipated morendo, pianissimo, A sharp, and okay. 3 before the double bar, please. 3, 4, and 2. 3, 4. So 10, right? Remember, we're doing this subito allegro tempo, right? So it's really important that he gives us a little help at 255 when he says nicht eilen. So if you somehow push the tempo there, then we're sunk for the later, faster subito tempos, right? So really fight the temptation to go faster. Can we go back to the allegro to subito, please? violas, this is such an important counter melody to the first violin, right? In terms, this is actually more important than the first violins. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, and. Okay, 238. Allegro to subito. Yeah. 2, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 1. Okay. Bar Liana. I'm in 2 there, right? Folks, this music has to feel like it's coming from far away. You're not there in the same room, right? It's sort of a memory, right? Or it's from a different, like you hear, I think there's like a festival going on in the township over, or maybe 2 townships over, right? Maybe over the mountain pass, there's like, in the village, there's some kind of wedding, right? So it's too loud. You're playing as if you have a full section at your disposal, right? So much softer at 238, so that when the nicked island comes, and 3-4 bars later, you have the triple piano. Right? You actually have room to go back even further, right? Okay. Could we go from, let's not go all the way back. How about from 255? So notice the bar of forte. It has to kind of go, like the window opens, oh, and then the back closes, okay? So, nicked island, 255. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 1. There. And yada di da di da di da. And okay. So there should be a noticeable, like maybe 20%, 30% faster tempo at the allegro subito, right? So at the allegro, just a single allegro subito. Don't go crazy in the 10th tempo, right? In fact, it should just feel like a nudge faster than the previous tempi, so that the allegro molto subitos really feels like, okay, that's crazy fast, right? So the feeling should be, you've now come to the village. Oh, there's a big party going on, right? Now you're in the midst of the party, right? But then at the allegro molto, it's as if you realize there's something wrong with this party. Okay, all right. So maybe a little darker color hue. Here's 10. Right, 10. If you can't hear triangle, you're probably too loud. Okay, here. And ready, and. There. And 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1. Daga. I'm going to give you more time there, Adam, okay? So let's do the allegro molto again. Notice it's not louder, it's just faster. Okay, here we go. Allegro molto subito, 278. And 1 and 2. 2, 3. Yeah. So, hold it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll wait for you there. Okay.
Okay.
Allegro molto, one time. That crescendo into the 3/4, or in case the crescendo molto of 1 and 2nd beat of the 3/4 should feel like you just jacked up the volume. Yeah? Okay. 278, allegro molto, subito, and 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Adam, I'm going to follow you for the 4 bars. So you have lots of time, okay, because it's 3 times slower. You're moving too early on the 4/4 bar, the last 8th note.
Yeah, that's the 4/4 bar.
Yeah. Okay, let's go 11, rehearsal 11. Folks, that was much better. It was too loud when we started. All right? So it should really feel like somebody just opened the window. Oh my God, there's a party. Yeah? Right on the rehearsal 11. 2 and read here and take time. Second violence. Feel us. And 2 and 3 and 4. So you moved a little early, okay? Let's go 4/4 bar after 11. So Adam, I think after the fermata, be much longer. Da da ti da ta di. That's a good place to breathe, right? That's one phrase. Ta ta da di da ta di da ta ro di. Right. So I would love for you to not take a breath after that, right? Because yeah. So if that means you take more time on the first 2 beat bars, but then a little bit less time, although there's a ritardando through those bars, right? If you can make it those 4 bars to the second bar 4/4, that'd be ideal. But if you do need a breath,
yeah, that's really not a good spot for it. I'll just take it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's give you another shot. 11. Rehearsal 11. So, folks, that's the B3 who moves on B3, Kenny and Arya, right? And Brian. So, first beat, he has a fermata. So I'm kind of just letting him be there. And then 2/8, 3, 1. Does it make sense? Okay, here we go. 11. Bravo. Adam, that was great. So now you know that that's a big mountain you have to climb over, right? So you have to kind of tank up on that breath after the second bar, right? Because it's one of these gigantic Alps hills where you think you're done with the hike after 5 hours, and then you realize, oh, I have another 6 hours left. Okay, that's what it's kind of emulated that feeling. Austin, it feels too busy, right? So make the sound a little more pure, right? You know how the air gets thinner as you go up on the mountain, Right? It feels like you're still with lots of trees. Okay. 4/4 bar. After the drum. 3, 4. A little more second violins there, please. And 4 and now there's a pin. And 3 and 4 and 3. Less. Hold. And. 3, 4, 1, 2. And yampa. German. Dampa. Bam pesante. So it should feel not like a light material. So kind of a heavy machinery or big animal or big building, okay? So this breath before the 4, right? So 4 before the double bar wins. Can I be slower there a little bit longer? Yeah. So, because otherwise, that sense of forward momentum should happen on beat 3 and 4 suddenly. Yeah? Okay. Folks, be careful of the breaths that you have at 308 and 310. We're kind of giving up on the sound too soon, right? You already stopped playing at beat 4, right? And it should be, if anything, 2 and 3 and 4 and breath, 1. Not 3 and 4 breath, 1. So the breath makes it a little longer. Does that make sense? Okay. How about before the double bar, 308. That's 7 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars. Actually, let's make it 8 bars. Okay, 8 before. Okay. 3 and. Yeah, I've heard this bar not be together in so many orchestras. I don't know why it is. Yeah. 8 before. 8 before the double bar. Ready and. So I don't want to give that second eighth note, right? So I'm going to give you just the fourth beat. 3, and, but you're not going to get any more information after that, right? But what I also have to not do is give you up, down beat. So this is not what it's going to look like. Okay, if there wasn't a forward and a Luft pause, this is what it would look like. 1, 2, B, ya, ra, and the downbeat would fall naturally like the rules of physics, right? Bing, ba, right there. Okay, but he says, I don't want that. He wants to break the rules of physics a little bit. 3, 4, ba. So there's a moment of Luft pause tossed up in the air, and the ball is spinning in the air. What? That's not how it works on Earth. Okay? 3, 4, ah. So you have to flick the end of 4, 3, and ba. But if I do 3, 4, then I'm adding another beat, right? So I'm just going to 3, 4, ba. Okay, here we go. How about 2, 4 before the double bar? 3, and. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, yeah, bravo. So Jeremy, the third bar of the pesante was finally the right tempo, right? So you have to kind of feel that pesante immediately, yeah? Because it's been for 2 bars. Wow, brilliant colors, and yum, ba. You guys are putting on the brakes, okay? So on these figures at 3/17 strings, seconds and violas and cello, the important thing is at the beginning of the slur, right? If you try to hang on to what often happens is we emphasize the wrong part of the scale, right? So for the violas, that's what we should mainly hear. So if you kind of trail off it towards the end, that's okay. But where it begins the phrase again, that's where we need it precision. Okay? Bravo. 12. 3, and 2, 3, 4, yamba, and 2, 3, 2, first and second, and 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1. Leave it less. Violas. 2, 3, 4. You have to be loudest there. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 2 and 3. 1. Okay, because I am doing a rallentando every 8th note. Okay, all right. Let's take our parts and go to the hallway. Tim, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Check. Okay. Okay. So, oh, there's an echo. Hang on. Let me see if I can. Okay. Check. No. Check. Okay. All right. Okay, so we got through, in some ways, the most trickiest passage in the third movement, right? Because once we get to 12, it's just a matter of finishing the sentence, right? But in terms of the transitions, that happens between 8 and what we just went through, about 11, right? That's the places where you have to really pay attention, right? Okay, so let's just kind of review that so it's really set. So going back where we started at 6, right? Charles, these accents, right? You can take more time in these, right? Da, ti, ta, ti, da, right? Okay. And anytime anybody has a figure like Joy does at 187, ti, ya, da, ti, ya, da, this repeating figure, it shouldn't feel sort of staying back. It should be not ti, ya, bum, pi, it's ti, dum, bum, pi, dum. It's sort of this urging, let's go forward, right? It's more impassioned plea. Now, folks, 4 before the double bar, before 7, these hairpins are really, really important, right? Largely because this wave that happens, if we had a gigantic section, it's very effective and very powerful. But with the small numbers that we have, you have to really come back from the forte and then go forward. You can't sort of do halfway hairpins on these. I'm not even sure, Brian, Mahler had access to a harmonium that could do this kind of hairpin for you, but anyway. Now here, Austin, and as you do these, you should be at a dynamic sort of contrasting to the point where Austin is in danger of not being heard, right? But it'd be even better if you could still hear him, right? So that our pianos are coming down to a much softer level, right? We're really good at doing larger dynamics. We're just not that great at doing softer things. And for Mahler, that's sort of the secret. That's the secret sauce. If you play everything mezzo forte, it really kind of sounds like a third-rate composer. Okay? But if you do all the soft dynamics where he has prescribed them, it really is magical. Right? So many different people have said to me that in terms of performing Mahler, like Brahms and Strauss, you can get away with kind of doing a mezzo forte because the melodies are so beautiful, right? And it's in some ways the narrative of the melodic line is interesting enough that you can play everything sort of at a mezzo forte and it'll still work. Okay, but with Beethoven, with Mahler, who are composers who take a motivic cell, right, a small
germ of a musical idea and develops an hour-long symphony out of that. So in terms of melodic material, it's actually not interesting, right? I mean, we get the big tunes here as well, but most of the time what Beethoven and Mahler, what they're doing is they're actually developing this initial cell, this motivic idea, into a narrative that sounds like a whole story, right? So in that pathway of a narrative, dynamics plays an even more important role, right? So in a passage like this, so the hairpin, it seems like, it's not that big a deal if it doesn't really come through. It actually makes this moment work if you have the right dynamics, okay? Okay. So going on, at 7. First and second, this tia, ta, tiara, ta, tiara, ti. Each one, 1, 2, 3, it should be going forward, right? And then he tells you exactly when to slow down, because the note values are longer. So he's kind of written in the rallentando in the musical figure itself. So it's third bar 7, ti da dotted quarter, right? So there, take time. Austin, here we need more of your sound here. Da da dee da da, where you're backing up the violas. Okay. Kenny, you're in some ways different, although it's the same team as the violoncellos, right? You don't quite have the complete figure. Da dee da, ti da, but then it's together, right? So you have to kind of be a different team and then join the violoncello sound on that second bar. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stick with this theme of dynamics, 197 cellos and violas, right? If you look at this figure, you start fortissimo with, and then there's a hairpin, and then there's another swell of hairpins, and then there's a piano bar that comes out of nowhere, right? So you have to really take care of that bar with the piano. Now, what he's doing is he's mixing colors. Okay? In that moment that you have the piano, guess who has the forte? Adam, the horn player, has the forte. And he's been piano all along when you have the forte. Right? So when you're fortissimo here, Adam doesn't even play there. But he comes into the piano when you're still forte and doing this business. But when you go to piano, for that bar, he's forte, just for that bar. And then he comes in. But then that bar, it's supposed to, his sound, so, oh, there's a horn. So you're, Adam, 199, oh yeah. Yeah. So there, you have to really go for that bar. So that's how he mixes colors, cello and viola, right? For that bar, with the piano, it doesn't make sense actually when you just play the viola-cello line by itself. But then if you listen together, oh, I see. He wants to highlight a horn color. Okay. Jeremy, really there's a danger of going too slow too soon. Where are you, Jeremy? Yeah. At 3 before 8, right? I think this last time, we still felt like the 2 before 8 was getting, there's too much hint of, it's going to slow down, right? Okay. Cheryl, R before 8, that gliss could start sooner. Yeah? So instead of thinking and a 4, think more like B4. 3, 4, 1. Right? We should really feel that in the cuts. Okay. So in general, there's a range for these string gliss effects, right? So I think the cleanest are orchestras that become more and more modern orchestras, because they're just not used to doing glisses, right? So they kind of sneak it in there at the last, like end of the 4, or sometimes the last 16th minute. That's how they tend to do it, right? The farther back in time you go, like Mengelberg recording, if you can find it, they gliss the crap out of it. Like oh my God, that's like too much, right? So, and I think when Mahler was writing, he really wanted gliss to be not just a side effect, but actually the main way he was trying to be much more expressive. Okay? So, I think we should go for it. Okay? So, a little earlier, go a little earlier. Okay. So, that means second violin. Look at end of 208 going into 209. That's ridiculous. Right? So, go for it. You're the only section that has that. Okay, look at this. So first line, he kind of gave an out. Da 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 da, ya da di. It's the same ya da da, right? Same BA, but then let's go from the low E, right? So go for it. Okay. In some ways, you're doing the same gesture as da di da ta da di, but instead of doing it with 3/8 notes, you're doing with yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good friend of mine. My first Seder was with the Glazer family, and Mr. Glazer was, "Oi, there's always oi." That's the way he expressed himself. So, okay, good and bad. Okay, 210. We talked a little bit about this motivic cell idea, da da di, right? 2/8 note and the longer note, right? But it is never alone. It is not an effect that you have by yourself. You have 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, right? So it should feel like this wave that it's. You guys ever been surfing? Oh, you should go surfing. It's really fun. But so when you ride a wave, right? And then if you've been riding a wave, and then there's another wave that joins midway. That's pretty much what this is. If you haven't done surfing, that analogy is not going to work. Okay, but basically, it shouldn't feel 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and it should feel like wow, 1 that way, right? And then violas and Kenny, you take all of that dee-da, 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 ya, dee-da-da, right? So you're taking that sort of wave of energy, right, and it's gathering forces. So as you play that bar, third bar of the Wiedergehalten, here, right? It's in this wave, one, and it says molto crescendo there, right? That's so important, yeah? And then second violence, that, if you're not careful, this where it says vibrando, you're taking that clarinet viola idea, and reinforcing it, right? So you have to be really joining that massive sound on that bar that says vibrando. Okay, until the double bar, right? We've had that massive wave, ya, tida, 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 ya, tida. And then from 214 to the double bar, it's a dissipation of that wave. That initial gigantic wave, tida, 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 ya, tida. 1, 2, tida, pa, tida. And then there's a little wave, pam, pim, pam, pia. Right? And then Austin, you finish, where are you? That F, C sharp, F, D, right? So that D natural, right? Because we're all expecting F, C sharp. We're kind of expecting another one, right? But then he says, he pivots. Right? So it's kind of a magical moment. So during that gliss, but when you play the D natural, you're already changing the color to the next section. Okay. Jeremy at 9, don't rush. If you rush here, we'll be lost. Okay. So Jeremy, you have to coordinate with Brett and Michael with the basses. Okay. And violas, you fill in the middle. Right? Boom, 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 but you have boom, boom, boom. So that second bit, if somehow Jeremy wants to go faster, you slow him down. Okay, violas? Okay. Okay, allegretto subito. Same idea of the gliss. Go a little early rather than saving it for the end, last 16. Right? So violas. That's how most people do it. Start going. Right. First sentence. Put something here in writing right? That you go not too fast. Where are you? Sandy? Yeah? Okay, all right. And remember, so within the context of this section, if you have a piano out of a sea of pianissimos and triple P, that's actually quite loud, correct? Right? But let's make sure pianissimo really sounds like this party, this wedding party is happening over there somewhere. Maybe like down the hill. Like you hear it, but it's like, yeah, hey, I think somebody's having a party. Right? Let's find this party. Right? Okay. And then so that's what all these pianos and triple Ps mean. So that one bar forte, which happens at 256, 255, 254, right before the nicked island, right, has to be kind of like stick out like a sore thumb, right? But right now we're so loud at 238, it doesn't come as a surprise. Okay, all right. Imagine Mahler's a big hiker, okay, just like Beethoven, right? So he's hiking along and he's hearing all these things not only in his head, but in the areas he's hiking, right? In the Sixth Symphony, he actually puts in cowbells that he heard on the hills. It's kind of like, you're looking at the score and like, why are there cowbells here, right? So he's constantly writing in things he's hearing. So I bet he heard somewhere there's like a party going on. Okay, all right. The Ländler is a very typical Austrian, and it's in this meter, in the 3/8. Yeah, okay. Okay, 10. Remember, we have Allegro molto coming up later, so don't go too fast here. Don't spend all your money in the first shot. Yeah? Okay. And it's still pianissimo or piano, especially based in Germany. You guys are too loud. If you guys get loud, everybody else will get loud. Okay. So when the winds come in and the brass comes in, Adam comes in after the Allegro spito, the fifth bar, right? This should feel like a surprise. Yeah? Okay. Okay. And then Allegro molto subito, 278. Notice we had a section where we're like kind of in the middle of the party. It's forte, fortissimo, the triplet, the 16th, right? But then double bar comes at 278. We're back to piano, right? Hannah, where are you? So you are the lone instrument who has a forte amongst the sea of pianissimos and pianos. It's kind of a joke on Mahler, right? It's as if everybody said, "Oh, we gotta get out of here," and then, unbeknownst to you, the party's like moved to another town. You're like, "Hey, okay, where do you go?" Okay, so stay loud on that orchestra stuff. Okay, we talked about that crescendo molto and the 3/4 before 11, really happening in a kind of way. Okay. Adam, I think the trick to 11 is, if it feels unnatural in terms of moving too fast, then it's too fast, right? So, just as a general rule of thumb, right, the bass point tempo, right, 1, 2, 3 is 1 beat here. Of course, quarter equals before her dotted half note. Do you have that figure? Yeah. So that means the quarter note of 11 is the same length as the previous dotted half, which is the whole 3/4 bar, right? But it's still going at this tempo. Right? 1. 1. Right? Makes sense? So at least that much, but then there's a fermata on top of that. So what's the rule in fermata? You add, time and a half or something like that, right? So if you're going something like that. So it should be at least that long. So Kenny and Aria, that makes sense, right? So I'm holding that fermata, and then next thing you see is 2 and 3 n, right? So the next movement is not 3. Does that make sense? Aria? Yeah, okay. Okay, and then Adam, you're going to breathe out to the second bar at the end of the second bar 11. Right, and not breathe all the way through, right? Okay, and Austin, when you played that melody after the double bar second time, was perfect. Okay, all right. Second violins. Here's a place where you have to do most of the heavy lifting in the espressivo, in this hairpin, right? Because first violins way up there, they can't really do much, right? It's a more beautiful sound if the lower octave is more present. That's just a really general rule of thumb. Like if you're dropped into an all-state orchestra, you say two things to the string sections, they will sound immediately better. First one is from the string. Second one is the second octave, the lower octave is loud, right? That will immediately improve the tuning. It's kind of amazing. That's just physics. Okay, all right. So moments like this, where you're octave below the first violinist, where is that? 290, 288, all of these places, bit more than the first violinist. Okay, violas. This passage that starts at 292, you have to really be careful that it's not going to be so strong right away. Right? It's a long passage. You have to wait for that moment. Right? So here's the peak of the melody. Right there. Right? So if you're so expressive here, then we don't get to be expressive there. Right? You got that, Sharp? Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. We talked about the Luftpause, that's great. Jeremy, that second time at 318 was much better, but it could still be a little bit more held back. Right? It's as if like you're trying to stop all this like forward momentum. Bim bum, bum bim bum. Okay. And Cheryl and Shella, before the double bar, before 338, 337, right? Those sets of eighth note. It says, look at this. He says, Ritterdam poco, gehalten, langsam, espressivo diminuendo. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different words because I think he wants more and more time on these eighth notes. So you can take as much time as you want. Okay? Okay. Come back in 5 minutes, okay? I talked too much.
Okay, we're going to start from the first movement, rehearsal 18. 18, 1-8. Now remember the bar before, there's a pause on the bar line, right? Okay, so right from 18, 3 and 4. Here's the thing. When we go to Bailey Hall on May 6th, right, you're going to be shocked at how sound is really not coming to you soon enough. Right? So in some ways, the CSO, which has been able to rehearse in there, has had a huge advantage over the chamber orchestra because they've been just had time to sufficiently get used to the way sound is not coming immediately to you because you're not sitting next to your section. Right? So the social distancing in this room, the effect is not having the sound delivery is not so bad. It's pretty immediate. Okay, it's still a ways away, right? So if you wait for the sound, we won't be able to coordinate, right? And then plus there's a general sense of anytime you have an eighth rest, quarter rest, half note rest, the entry after that is 30% slower. So if everybody does that, that's why we're having that problem in the beginning of the first movement where it gets slower and slower. And Hannah's like, come on guys, let's go. Right? Because each entry is adding 20% to 30% of time. Right? So you kind of have to, and I hate saying this, you have to go with the stick. Right? In Bailey Hall especially for this recording session, if you rely on your ears, and I hope we can all get to that time where we can rehearse closer together, right? And use your ears. Right? But for this recording, you have to really go with the stick. Okay, all right. Here we go, one time, 18. 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 and 3 and the 4 and the 1 and 3 and the 4 3 and 4 and 2, 3 and 2 and the 3, 4 and 2, 3, 4, Zamda 3 and second 3 and 4 and 5 and 4 and 1 and the 2 and the body body body. Second, Euless. Tempo. 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So there, you have to kind of line up a little more, right? And because of the separation of the feet and length, right, it's a little coordinated. Two things, really, really wonderful. At the mid-grossen tone, right? For something to have a larger tone, what do you have to do? Do you have to go faster or do you have to go slower? Yeah, you have to give it some time so it has room to be larger, room to be more sustained and resonant, right? If you hit a if you have something this big, right? I shouldn't hit the hard drive. If you hit something this big, right? It's going to have a resonance that's different from if you hit something a bell this big, right? So the mid-grossen tone, take more time, yeah? Okay, bravo. Two things. Where was that? 275. Those eighth notes of the tenutos, right? Don't go too fast over them, right? Okay. How about at the Schwungvoll, 263? If someone says Schwungvoll to me, and I think of like some big animal, right? Okay. Yeah. 3 and 4 and. And here and 1 and 2 and 3 and yada yada and 3 and 4. Second balance. Ti ti ta ta ti da. Hang on. So it's easy to go into automatic pilot when you hear something that gets louder. So strings, you're going to hear the winds get louder here when you have the exact opposite. Right? So if you don't get softer here, then the wind color and the string color will just be meh, all mezzo forte together. But what's happening is the strings are going fortissimo piano for half note value. At the exact moment, the winds go crescendo on that 3 and 4. Okay? Winds, would you just play no strings, just winds from 276. Starts with Charles. Okay, ready? And one more time. A little more crescendo, please. Ready? So it has to be really led by horn or all the winds. Okay. Same part. 276. And bravo, bravo, bravo. Now let's do strings in that same bar. 276. Ready? 3 and 4. Right there, 276 from the downbeat. Ready, and 2. So in that exact moment, 3 and 4 there, crescendo, you were doing the even under. Okay, let's put that together, please. 2, 7, 6. Ready, and 4. Winds 3 and 1 and 2 and hang on. If anything, it can't be the same tempo. Right? It has to be slightly slower, right? So wieder, that P word, right? Again, suddenly slow and deliberate, right? So we've been sort of Okay, right there. 21. Ready, and 4, and. One more time. 3, and 4, and. So, playing, are you too fast or too slow? Fast. Okay, ready? And 4. Ready, and 4, and. Take time on the 16. Da da dee. Ya da dee da da dee. Okay, hang on. First balance. These two 16th notes, anytime you have a tenuto over the 8th notes of the 16th note, you have to savor it. As if it's like a little sweeter, or it's a little saltier, right? And, okay, I will make a analogy. If you have a piece of candy, right? Do you just swallow it? Oh, candy! Down the throat. No, you savor it in your mouth, right? So, da da ti, take a little more time, yeah? Savor the candy. 20, 21. 3 and 4 and. Suddenly, and ya ta ti ta ti. Ya ta ya. Second balance. 2 and ti ta ti. And ya ga ti ga ti ga da ga ti ga da ga ti ga da ga. Okay, let's do it again. Second balance, same thing with you guys, 289. You gotta savor the 16th notes, yeah? Yeah? How about Tanvi's beautiful solo, 288. Right there. Ready, and 4, and. Seconds. And. Jaga tiga. Pipi. That was it. Sorry, Hannah. I'll give you a better cue. 22. All right, that's really beautiful contrast of pianissimo to 3 Ps. Nice job. 22. Ready, and 4, and. Bum, B. 3 and 4. 4. And 4. 4. 3 and 4. Okay, that's supposed to be together, Aria, right? So end of, Jeremy, you were early. Aria is right, okay? 2, about, 297. 297. Ready and full. I'm smiling, okay? Okay, same thing. Can we just take Jeremy and Hannah? So, basses are going to be slower, right? They're just finishing their sentence on the old world, yeah? And, bum, bum. Okay, I would say Jeremy took a slower tempo and Hannah said, okay, I'll take that tempo. Rather than taking Hannah's tempo. Because she comes in earlier, you gotta take her tempo. Okay, one more time, same please. Everybody, 297. Ready, and 4, and... Four, and 4, 3, and 4, 4, and 4, yum bum bim bum. Okay. Aria's right? 1 and 2. Da da dee da da da. Yeah. Okay, 2 things. Basis, your entry is late because its bow is not on the string, and that's just enough to delay you. Okay. Seconds, that was great. Just better in tune, please. Same thing. How about from seconds and violas? Your forte pizzicato 299. We could use a little more reinforcement. Okay. Same thing. 297. Jeremy, that was much better. You're still not taking your tempo. And then 1, 2. Zampa, bim, 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 bim. Bravo. That's it. 4, bum, bim. And bravo. 3, 4. Bravo, second. Bravo. And 4. That was a little late. 3 and 4. And a yum bum bim bum bim. 2. Da da dee da da. And a 3. Za. Da da dee da da da. And 3. Tira, tira. And zam, da dum, da dim, da dum. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, and 2, and 3. Bravo, bravo. 2 things. So for this calmly and always becoming calmer tempo to work, this section from 23, we have to do a give and take, just like the beginning of the first movement, right? Da-dee. Take time. Da-dee-da-dee, and then go forward. Da-dum, da-dum, go forward, okay? Hey, 297 on. Did you see how all of those entries are now in time? Right? It felt comfortable. Jeremy was right in time with Hannah. Right? Now it felt like it was all functioning. Basis, your entry of 3 or 4, pick up the 3 or 4. You just weren't quite ready, so we're just a tiny bit behind. Okay? Can we just reinforce that one more time, please? Same place? 297. Old world and 2. Bum, bum, bum. 4, bum, bum. 4. Second. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. Da, da. 3 and 4. And yum dum dim dum. And 2. 2. And 3. 1, 2, 3. Take time. Here we go. And 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And here we go. 2, 3. And 1. Because you did it so naturally well, I just want to reinforce 318 and 320. Those are like, you're hiking and there's a turn, and there's a, oh, look out to the waterfall. You don't go, whip to the next part. You go, da-dee, da-dee-da. That's the moment. Okay, so enjoy that moment. 3:18. By the way, go hike in the gorges. It's so beautiful with the flowers. Okay. 23. Ready? 3 and 4 and T. Here we go. And yum da dum. Ya 3. Yum da dum da da. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2. Da di da 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 di da da di da. And yeah, 3. Okay, can we do that again? So second violence. I feel like you felt like you were rushed. Da 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 da. Right? Take time. Da 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 da. Yeah. Right there at. Actually, can we go into a running start? 3:21. 2 bars before the Rubik. Immer wieder. I apologize to the German speakers. And 4 and 1, 3, 1, 3 and 4 and 3, 2 and 3 and 3 da dee da and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 and 3. Jeremy, I know the piano is a large instrument, right? So here we have to match whatever Tanvi gives us, right? Okay. You know what? In my memory, my favorite memory is of Christoph Eschenbach was playing a soloist, not conducting, and I think he was conducting the Berlin Phil, and he was giving an A to the orchestra tune, and instead of just kind of going A, he kind of went and played this most beautiful A I've ever heard. Pretty much, he had the whole audience in the palm of his hand at that moment. The way he played that A, it was so soft, so clear, and I kept thinking, how did he do that? Right? So this is a moment. That's it. Yeah. Okay. So it can't be. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Bar before. How about langsam? By the way, Adam, that sounded really, really beautiful. I think you can take more time.
Okay.
In fact, can we go from there? 336. 336. 2 bars before the langsam. And 1. Sorry. So it's bumping, 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 bump. It's the same sentence, right? It's not bumping, 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 bump. Bumpy, that's two different thoughts. It should be one thought. We just listen to Adam and go, oh, what a beautiful diminuendo. And punctuation. Okay? Same thing? 336. Here's a little trick. Every time you have an eighth note pickup, da 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 da, right? That's where you grab this loose tempo and you say bumpy, dumpty, right? So that end of 4 is in tempo for the next bar. But then as it gets looser, you say N4, N4. Does that make sense? That was so beautiful. But I would say, Adam, if you make the molto red, right? Naturally, then this will make sense. You have to, this is all about connecting the musical sentences, right? You have a sentence, you guys have a sentence, he says something, and then we finish the sentence and we pass it on to Tanvi, and then Jeremy and bass is coming down, right? All of that should be connected because it's within the same movement, right? It shouldn't be that happens, and then something else happens, and then something else happens, and then somehow something else happens. Then the audience is like, what? Right? Come on, right there. 20, where was that? 336. I have 1 minute. Violas. It feels a little rush right there when you start the yam taram at the stringendo poco a poco. It feels like stringendo, right? So because the tempo marking for 341 and 342 says very slow and somewhat hesitating. It doesn't say very slow and then getting faster, right? So let them so through these 4, it doesn't feel all of a sudden right? Yeah? I have 10 seconds. Right there. 3. No, I don't. I'm out of time. Can we just do one last time? Yeah? How about from 341? Right from 341. Last 3 notes, it's 1, 2, 3. It should be 1, 2, 3. That doesn't make sense. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Something back.
to feel a little more individuals. It's still too straight there.
Okay.
And I want you to be more expansive and specific.
Okay.
No. Dop, bop, 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 bop.
It's sort of you're like, come on, let's go. Bop, 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 dee, but then it says rip and then multiple. Right?
Okay.
So dot dot bop dee, bop bop dee, bop dee, bop bop dee. So that this makes sense, right? Because it's been naturally progressive.
Okay, got it.